Hello and welcome to another episode of me painting again. Oh yeah, we're painting again, and this time we're going to start off with some chalk. So chalk, it's cheap, very cheap, and it's just the regular chalk that the school teachers used to use on chalkboards. What they use now, I don't know. Probably computers. So, I've got a grey canvas. I'm using a picture that I took while I was in the woods, as I'm always going in the woods, and I quite like this one. I like the way the light hits that green. I'm gonna keep this green going along there. I quite like it. So it's a fun one. I'm gonna enjoy myself, which is what I like doing when I'm painting, enjoying myself. So here we go. So we use our sticker chalk. I think we can split it up into three. 1, 3, like this. So we've got 3 strips of canvas. Here's the ground. Something like that. The nice light that I was talking about is in that area. Over there. And if you bodge up, just wet your finger and rub it off like that. And then we got the first tree up here. Like that. Don't need to worry too much about the exact drawing really, because we're going to paint it, but it gives us an idea. That tree's like there, and then this one kind of goes more rounded. Maybe a bit further forward like that. I think it's more there. Like that. Like I said, very basic, and then and really that's all we need, because this area and this part is all almost one block of darkness, and then we have our light area in here, and then it goes kind of darkish around there. There is elements of light, dappled light here and there, which is good, which I like. There's the light there, and of course there's that green there that I really like. So that's pretty much it. That's all we really need to do, and now we can start painting. You can fix that if you want or something, or you can just pick up your brushes and paint, because you've got to remember chalk is actually mixed into oil paints. Well, not all of them, a lot of them. So these brushes I dipped in some linseed oil, cold pressed linseed oil that are mixed with a bit of clove oil, because I didn't want to have to clean them. And I haven't done a painting for a few days, and they've been waiting there to be used, because I don't clean my brushes anymore. It's, it's not something I enjoy. So I ain't doing it. Right. So looking at my picture, I can squint my eyes down, and then I can see where all the lights and darks and everything are. For this, where shall I start? I think I'll start at the front today. I've got all sorts on my palette, all sorts. Here's a weird looking palette. I always say you're best off with hardly any colours, and here I am with all sorts on. Yeah. When you're learning, let's put it this way, when you're learning you are best off with hardly any colours on your palette. Less is more. You don't really need a sap green and a viridian green and an ultra blue when you could mix your greens Me personally, I like having a viridian green, or what it really is, phthalo green, on your palette, because phthalo green can be mixed into all sorts of greens, all sorts. It's unbelievable. So, first things first anyway, I'm going to start putting base colours in. So what have I got here? Titanium white, chrome yellow, cadmium red, that's a bit of Indian yellow that I've made, and that's Naples yellow, burnt sienna, ultramarine blue, viridian green, sap green, burnt umber. So start with, I'm going to make a dark with my burnt umber and ultramarine blue, make sort of a, it's not quite black or anything, it's just when you stick in a bit of the old ultra blue in with your burnt umber, it starts to dull things with your umber, so it works out brilliantly. So let's not mess around, let's get cracking. So I'm going to scrub this paint on. So you might be wondering, if you've never painted before and you're starting and you're thinking, do I need to paint my canvas grey? You do not have to paint your canvas grey. In fact, you don't have to paint your canvas any colour. You can go straight on a white canvas, but then you won't be able to see your chalk marks. So you'd have to use something else, stick a charcoal or something. But that works. You see, starting paintings or prepping canvases, all that sort of stuff is a personal thing, and I don't always do it this way. Sometimes I do it differently. And to be honest, it doesn't really matter, because whatever works to get your painting, your final painting, whatever you have to do to make it to that final part when your painting looks good, then that's it. It doesn't really matter if you start with your canvas yellow, blue, red, orange, grey, white, doesn't matter. You do what you want to do, and you experiment, because I like to experiment. Painting is a science, and it's all about experimentation. And to learn to be better at painting, you study nature. See, there's a lot of art books out there, and some really useful ones, to be honest. Really good ones. There's a lot of good videos out there. There's a lot of good courses out there. But there's nothing better than nature. Nothing. No artist can teach you what's out there. The observation of nature. Yeah, I truly believe that. I think people like me do videos, and they are useful. They do make you a better painter. I'm not saying my videos will. But people's videos and books and things do help. But at the end of the day, you have to really become yourself. Who do you want to be as an artist? And that's an area that only you can do. Only you know that. Do you want to paint in a certain way all the time? Do you want to mix it up? Do you want to paint portraits? Do you want to paint landscapes? Do you want to always paint still lifes? People say, well, if you just paint one thing, you'll specialise in that one thing. But then, Do you though? Is painting just the same no matter what you paint? If you learn how to paint trees, and all you do is paint trees for, say, 5 years, you just paint a tree. Do you think that person that knows how to paint trees amazingly wouldn't be able to paint a portrait? Or wouldn't be able to paint flowers? I bet you the person that paints for 5 years painting trees could paint anything. Because he's learnt a craft. And that craft can move on to painting anything else. So I'm putting in some burnt sienna in these gaps. Trying to keep sat back all the time, trying to keep my distance because I want to see the whole painting. I want to see this masterpiece appear before my very eyes. Right, let's get another brush. Let's get this brush. This is one of my favourite brushes. Now, people always say, do you need a really good brush to be an artist? Can you just use whatever's there? Because people say you don't need really good stuff. A great artist could use anything. Well, this is a nice damn brush, this one. I don't sell these brushes. These are Winsor & Newton artist oil brushes. They are really nice. They are really nice. It's just for me, my opinion. Right, we need to block in this path area, I think, next. And it's got sort of a, I don't know if you can see. It's got sort of a bluish to it, I don't know. Bluish. That soil, actually, I walk under there, there's actually a bridge there, and the horses used to go under it. I suppose they still ride under there. So I'm going to use blue, because we said it's bluish, but a little bit of red as well, because I don't think that soil, that luscious soil, I almost want to take a bucket and put a bucket full of it in and bring it back here and put it in a pot. I bet I could grow some awesome blueberries in that soil. Right, so let's put this in here. There we go, let's get this nice luscious soil. So you'd think it's just like all leaves and things, so I think it would be quite acidic, I guess, that soil. So there's a lot of leaves on the ground, so you'd be able to grow trees and things. Oh, it would be brilliant. Don't want to get told off though, so I won't do it. Make some really good compost though, wouldn't it? Those leaves. Or the soil that's already there, in fact. It's already done. It's already rotted down nicely. I like growing things in the garden. It's another one of my hobbies. Something it's enjoyable, isn't it? I learned a lot about gardening actually from my nan. She taught me a lot about gardening. She made a really amazing garden once. It was so good that it sold the house that she wanted to sell because the garden was so good. Right, what do we got now? Got some nice darks here and there. We need some green. I've took this path a little bit further up because I wanted it to almost vanish in amongst the grass there. Now I think it'd be a good idea to start putting in some of these leaves. You see on this picture, A lot of leaves, a lot of masses of green, quite dark. So sap green would probably do, in with this brown. Get some blue in it. Get some blue in this. So it's quite dark. Sap green, bit of burnt umber, ultramarine blue. Quite dark, but it is dark. It's amazing actually when when I'm stood there looking at all the leaves. I think it's amazing the way all these different lights, and some of the trees reflect blue, reflect blue light of the sky. Amazing. Oh, I love nature. So we're going to look for masses. I'm sort of looking for masses. Massing in. That's what they call it. And you can use this massing in technique to do anything. Just to show you. Imagine here. Right. Imagine there. There we go. Can you see? You start off with the massive block. And then you can start adding things. Anyway, you could mass in a load of people carrying backpacks. If you spend a bit of time, but you can start off with the block. Maybe there's a quite tall person there. You see how you can build it up though by using a massing technique. Anyway, that's leaves. This mass goes along here. We'll leave gaps. The gaps we can fill in with other things. And some of the areas you'll find isn't as strong as others. It'll be like a little bit greener because you've picked up a little bit more of the sap green, and that's okay. This darkness goes down here and goes up. Okay, so I want to keep this loop going, this sort of shape. So I want to make sure I keep that as I'm putting more and more paint on. Okay, well I'm just getting some more sap green, look, throwing it in this pile, getting some more blue, throwing it in, more burnt umber, throwing it in. You just sit back, relax, give yourself a minute to look, try and think about what you want to do, and then you can give it some. And you can test it. You can go, well, maybe I'll lightly put some in. I'll go quite light, or maybe a scrub. And practice with it. Have fun with it. Don't feel there is only one way to place paint on the canvas, because there's lots of ways, and you want to be experimenting with them, delighting your senses as you throw paints on. Okay, let's have a look at that. Yeah, this is looking quite good. So far, so good. Now we do want to get some light coming through as well, because if it's not just one dark mass, it's quite dark, but not one dark mass. But while we're throwing this dark on, we can put some green along here. Just to go along where that tree is. And I'm going to switch a little bit to more viridian green now. My green. And what is a bit more viridian now. I'm going to start looking at areas in this area. There. Now I'm going to switch back to the sap green, more sap green. And there's sort of a bit of a mixture on my brush now of all sorts. Let me slowly sit back and have a look. There's sort of a gap. Sort of there. I think we'll have a bit of a yellow gap there, and then there's some yellow bits in amongst this. Just go for that, and then this green colour, because we've got to think about all the in amongst all this, some blue, a bit more blue in my colour there. All in amongst this is a lot of ivy. You get a lot of ivy growing in here. In fact, you get carpets of it. Looks pretty awesome. Looks pretty awesome. Getting a bit of blue, ultramarine blue in my colour. So I'm trying to avoid any lights just yet. Trying to avoid them. Keep it dark to start with, and then we can start throwing in some light the more we've filled this in. I mean, this could be a scene. Whoops, we went into some light then. Let's get back in our sap green and ultramarine blue. I'm just picking up. Actually, I'm throwing my brush into everything. Everything goes up, everything. Bit of sap green, bit of blue, bit of this green. We'll see what happens, who knows. Now we've got this area. Put this in. Green there. Scrubbing it on. Okay. Let's just sit back, have a look at this. What I could do is bringing some of this down a bit. Throw in a bit of dark. Don't want too much detail yet. Okay, Just sit back and have a look at that. That's looking quite good. I think we've got a point where we can start lightening some of these greens. Maybe just block this in here. Okay, I quite like that so far. Enjoying myself, gotta be honest, enjoying myself. Enjoying it. Can't beat oil painting, I don't think. I've been painting with gouache again. I was practicing painting people. Doing lots of people, but not doing detail. Just doing quick sketches. Because I don't really need too much detail. When I put people into my pictures, I don't need there to be too much detail. I just want a figure in there, but I want it to be believable. I want someone to look at it and go, oh yeah, there's a person there. Right, now I'm in a position where I want to go for it. So let's start with, let's not go for it, Let's use a different brush. This brush. Just give it a wipe on a paper towel. So it's got a bit of blue on it. So what I want to make is a nice green. So we're just using this green mix that's there, throwing it into this chrome yellow. That can be one of our greens. I feel like it needs it warming up a bit, maybe a bit of the Indian yellow. Yeah, that's better. We'll try that one first. So we're not going to just use the one. Maybe that's too bright. Let's see how it looks. So we're going to start putting this in. Just using these little flicks. Now it'll start mixing with what's there, and then you just load your brush up again. But it's quite good that it does, because then you get more colour, more different shades of green, rather than all the same. I'm going to throw my colour into the green, into this green, make another colour. I'm just using little strokes. I can give the impression of leaves, loads of leaves as well, has to be loads. So there's loads there. You can use a little brush if you want and go whip, whip, or you can use one of these and do loads of little marks. Start building it up. Like I said, you can change it, make your changes, do different colours. You could have a cherry blossom. So I really like the way the light just pings through in some areas. You can't see any blue sky in this one. That's one of the things I like doing when you put the dots in. Go beep 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 beep. And you get these amazing lights that I really, really like. Just using a bit of light pressure, you can go over the darks, and then some of your light will just ping off. And like I said, it's you're massing the basic colours, and then you can go over the top. You can take this as far as you want. Okay, just sitting back, having a look. What I want to do, I'll put some more in. Put some more in first. I'll get some more of this green and yellow. I hope this can be seen okay. It's not too shiny back. It does shine back a little bit on my light, but what can you do? The problem with oil paint, it is reflective when it's wet. Okay. Okay, I'm quite liking that so far. I'm going to pick up a bit more yellow because I want to put a bit more light in here. So if you look at the way I'm holding my brush, like this, so it's loose, and that means you can be quite light with it. And you can just release a bit of paint wherever you want. I put a few shapes there that were slightly different. Now I want to get this bit of light in here. Seems to be in like two groups like that. Okay, and then bit of this dull green around it. Sit back. It's always sitting back, Sitting back, having a look. Do I need a bit more light in there? Yes, we do, I feel. I'll take it out to there, take it to there. Yeah, quite like that. I'm going to get a bit of Naples yellow in my other yellow. So grabbing some Naples yellow into my other yellow. There we go. So it adds a little bit of a different glint with this Naples yellow. So while we're messing around with the Naples yellow, I might add a little bit more in this in places. Wherever you want the glint, you put it in. Now we've got quite a lot of light around here. Some of this bluey. We want this to be here. More of the gonna see just an experiment. So that's Naples yellow in with a viridian green and a bit of white and now a bit of yellow. Makes a very unnatural colour. Add a bit of blue in. I quite like that. That's another green, that. It's quite nice. Quite a fresh looking green, and I might put that along here. Break that a bit to there. So I'm just sort of pushing colour into it. Quite like that. Just wipe my brush. Now go into some yellow. There's a little bit of that green still on the brush, but I go into that yellow and now I can make that more brightish green with that. And that's in the grass which goes along here. And then it goes in there. So I wanted to carry it on, see. Then we can go into that dark, put it a bit in with the green, and then we can have the green dull in a way a little bit. We can dull it away even more over here. Okay, quite like that. Starting to come alive a little bit. Need to bring some more of this alive, so I'm going to get some Naples yellow. The old Naples, and the old Naples yellow there. sap green in it. Bit of that fancy green. I'm just putting a few marks. Bit in here. Okay. Bit more of that yellow. Okay, just sitting back, having a look at that. Now I wanted to do a bit more of the bushiness on here. Which I was going to bring to there, except it probably needs to be darker than that. I can sort of disappear there. Yeah. I mean, I've changed things a bit because of the land has changed a bit from what I've been doing, but not much. So now I want a bit of white on my brush. Just want a bit of white and a bit of blue. A bit of the red. That colour, I'm going to start building this path up so you can see it better. Just getting a bit more blue, needs to be more blue than that, that's better. And then it can get darker over here. Okay, I quite like that. I want to exaggerate the blue a bit. So what I'm going to do, I can get a bit of the light blue, a bit of blue and white. Just put that in here and there. That's just a personal thing, you don't have to do that. Something I've started doing is adding colours in that aren't there. Just seems to add a bit more life to my paintings. Something I've always been on the edge of doing, but never really knew what to do, so I never really knew what to do. That explains things well, doesn't it? Not knowing what to do. Yeah, just didn't know what to do. Right, I'm at a point where I can start painting those trees, but what I want to do before that, like I've done with that path, I would like to make it look like there's leaves on the ground. So, using burnt sienna, bit of the Naples, probably, bit of the burnt umber. We'll start warming up this ground, putting a bit of paint in there, using the brush to pull some paint on the ground. because we've already put a mass of paint on there, blocked it in a bit, we don't have to be too crazy with our brush, our paint. We don't have to load our paint absolutely full because we've already got a mass of paint there. If you want to work in impasto, then it's a good way of starting it off, getting the paint on to begin with and then putting paint on top of that. So we've got a load of brown on there now. What else could I put in there? A little bit of Indian, bit of the old homemade paints, bit of Indian yellow in amongst this. See what that looks like. Bit of Naples in it as well. That's quite nice. Just put a bit of that in here and there. Quite like that. It's got a lot of movement in the ground now, but what I need is more. I need more, so I'm going to put some light. So let's use it over here. Let's get some of this yellow, chrome yellow, in with our colour. Get a bit of titanium white as well. Bit of that just to warm it up. Burnt sienna, it's good for warming things up. Okay, so we've got a nice bit of red. That's better. That bit of red helped. So I'm going to go for this. This will warm things up some more. So we'll have some light going shing. I'll use this for on here as well, be okay. Some areas where the light is just breaking through and going poof. Just tapping there, just tapping. Just tapping some of this in. Some of it will get taken, some of it won't. And then I can sit back, have a look. Pick up some of the dark blue and brown, and then I can tap away anything I don't like. And darken anything I don't like. Okay, I think that'll do for the ground. I quite like that. I might brighten it a bit more. But we'll see what happens when we put the tree in. So, to make our tree, I'm going to get some brown and blue. Blue and brown, make a real nice dark, thick dark. If you've got ivory black, you can use that with the brown, make a nice burnt umber, and ivory black makes a nice remember the name of the brown now. Never mind. It makes a nice brown anyway. I'll think about it. So let's have a go at this tree. Let's see, it goes there. So we just drag this paint down to around there. Fill that in. All the way there. Big chunky tree. Big chunky tree. There's a branch that goes off that way. Behind that. Branches here. One that goes around. This branch kind of hangs there and then goes like that. I quite like that actually. It's bigger than the one in the picture. A little bit bigger anyway. Bit thicker. I'll go for this one going that way. It goes slightly at an angle on the picture, but I want that to go straight up to balance out the other two. That's the beauty of painting trees. That's why trees are so good to paint. You can do whatever you like, and you don't bodge it up, because it's not like painting a face. If you mess a face up, well, that's it. You know, you're done. But if you do mess a tree up, you can pretend you did it the way you wanted it to be. It's good, isn't it? Say, oh, you bodged it up. No, I didn't. That's how I wanted it to be. Right, let's have a look at that. Let's just sit back. I want to get that tree trunk there, the background a bit better. Maybe one to there. Got this, all kinds of branches in here. These branches are going to be fun to do because you've got one that goes like that. One that goes. Oh, I put them in the wrong place. Damn. Oh well. That's how that tree's going to be now. Let's make one there. Because I do like that bit. I like that. I quite like that. Have another one there. Bit of practice. I quite like that. Bit of blue in my colour. So you can choose how many branches and things you can put in now as well, because a lot of them get masked by leaves. And you can put leaves in front as well, like this branch. Send it back, put some leaves in front. Oh yeah, missed a branch out there. And then we can just sitting back having a look. could I do? Yeah, I think this is just too light here. That's better. Lots better. I think my lights need to be lighter. We want to capture the light on the trees as well. So I might get a bit of Naples yellow in my Naples yellow on my brush. Put some light hitting the tree there. 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 It's warming up a bit. That's better. There. 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 So if you need to warm it up, just put a bit of warm colour in it. A bit of red, a bit of orange. That's better. Now I could do with, so we're using Naples yellow with a bit of the Indian yellow. Going brighter for these. These lights. Okay, that was quite nice. Yeah, the lights just hit that one. Get some brown and put it on the other side. Maybe it breaks the light off a bit there and there. And maybe we'll have a bit more light on that bit there. Maybe a flick there. Grabbing a bit of the red. Gonna warm things up a bit on this tree. I can use a bit of blue to cool areas down as well. Darken areas. Let's have a look at that. That's quite nice. I put real dark there. It'd be nice to warm this tree up in areas. It is quite warm when you, it's a weird area actually, it's quite warm when you walk underneath. Even on a cold day it gets quite warm here. I always think it must be the trees. To got some really light yellow. Just warm up this area a bit. as well. Now I can look around the whole painting and maybe there's a few flicks of nice yellow. Create some interest. We can use the blue and brown to a bit of green in it. Keep that quite dark. Oh, there's something I want as well. I want a little few fine branches that are behind that. See how I did that? You just load, just show you that quickly. Load the brush. This is a filbert brush. Load it and then use the side of it. Use the side of it and then you can use it as a liner brush. Good, isn't it? It's amazing what you can do with these are bigger brushes, and you can do all kinds of things with them. I might put some dark plants in amongst here. A hint of green on. Just looking at that as a whole now. Looking at it as a whole picture, and then think. Sort of bring those bits together a bit there. Put in a few more of these here and there. Some different shaped different places, more light. I think I'm about done. And we could paint Bambi in there. I do quite like this. I'm quite liking this actually. I might have to finish soon. When you get to a point where you think, oh, I quite like this, you've got to think probably you might need to finish, otherwise you might mess it up. It's all different brush strokes. Hopefully when you look at this picture it doesn't make you feel like you're in amongst a bit of a tree tunnel. And I might just put a few maybe there's a leaf catching light there. just add a little bit more actually. Quite like that now. Okay, so I think I'm done. I think I'm at a point where I quite like the look of this, and maybe there. That needs doing there. I might take that around. Yeah, I think I'm going to call this one finished. I'm going to give it a bit of a signature. I'm going to start signing my paintings more often, because I'm going to start putting them on my website when I get around to it. And people will be able to get their own JB. So thanks so much for watching this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gave you a bit of an insight into creating something forestry-like. A bit interesting. I've really enjoyed myself. I always enjoy myself painting though, let's be honest. So thanks so much for watching this one, and I'll see you at another one. Cheers, bye.